Welcome to Beyond Beauty, the Professional Beauty Association's podcast, where we take a deeper look into the minds and the hearts of the amazing professionals who make up this wonderful professional beauty industry. I am your host from the Professional Beauty Association, Leslie Perry. With me today, what an absolute joy and a pleasure to have Autumn Yarbrough, CEO, founder of New Standard Beauty. Hi.
Hi, so happy to be here.
We are so excited to have you here because I know that you have a really incredible background, family or, related background in beauty. And I would love if you could take our listeners, viewers on a little journey back into your family, the rich heritage that you have in professional beauty.
Absolutely. Well, first off, I've been honored by my family being three generations in the hair care industry. It is definitely an honor, but also there's a little unique thing where there's a slight curse of three generation, and that is hair loss. And definitely from my family and wanting to be a part of a great family of doing some unfinished business in the beauty industry. My grandfather, Comer Cottrell, started a wonderful company called Proline, which really focused on providing access of affordable price goods and hair care to the Black community back in the 70s. Now, we all may be familiar with him with the Jerry curl. Forth, and with your soul glow, that we all remember from Coming to America. But that is what really took things to a higher heights for the hair care industry. He was one of the pioneers along with George Johnson and Ed Gardner. So it was exciting to have that rich history and also learning a lot from what my family has done, especially providing that access into communities that don't have those products or can't afford them. And then what was even more of a blessing is what I saw my mother do in the industry, in the beauty industry. And that was providing access of emotional connecting products to young Black girls, including myself, which was a famous brand that most know in the ethnic hair care good of Just For Me. So everybody remembers the jingle, Just For Me. But But it's been exciting, and it was exciting to see them launch the brand at such a young age. I was actually a part of the of one of the little girls that had the opportunity to model to even something grow to an extraordinary experience and having the connection, but also providing and fulfilling those needs. And that's what we're here to do with New Standard. And I think it's an unsilent need that most of us are scared to talk about, even with the amazing professional beauty members here that are well aware, because you guys are the first responders to that issue, and that's hair loss. And that's what we do. And our goal is to set a new standard in the industry.
And I mean, as you talk about hair loss, I know a lot of the conversation started to pick up a little bit more. I thought I saw around like the COVID timeframe when people who had COVID were experiencing hair loss, and it felt like it started to become a little bit more okay-ish to talk about hair loss as not just men experiencing hair loss, but women.
Exactly. Too. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, the hair loss industry has dominated more of men's needs, yet it's amazing to me that women are not really in the conversation. And now we're starting to see, like you said, the importance, because if we all know for women, when we suffer hair loss and it's irreversible, it really just hits not only our core in terms of our hair being gone, but just even our beauty and the challenges of acceptance with society of not having hair, or just the vicious cycle that we continue to do to drive the hair loss, but yet we're trying to hide it, yet we're scared to talk about it, the whole taboo, and also scared to talk about it with fear of no solutions or affordable solutions. And then also making sure that, a lot of times stylists even struggle to mention it because the lack of resources, some of the challenges, even with, making sure they can afford the resources. I know there's wonderful trichologists out there, but I'm sure they'd even echo that it's costly and that some of these things just need to be provided just on the cosmetology level, even when it comes to education and licensing.
Well, and especially I kind of personalize things, and women, when you become a certain age and things start happening like mid to late 40s for me personally, where you do start to experience changes all over in your body, but even with hair loss. And I know that that's become a topic I see in groups of friends too around, okay, I'll just say that it's menopause, right? And oh my gosh, now things are changing. My hair's falling out. What do I do? And nobody talks about it.
Exactly. And I mean, it's so true. 95% of humans are going to experience some type of hair loss, which we call androgenetic alopecia. So that is going to occur, but it's how we care for it, how we do preventative measures. And then also, to the extent women are uniquely different than men, we have different hormones, like you said, and we go through things differently. And also the result, if we do not, handle it, prevent it, that it's pretty detrimental on the soul of a woman. And our goal is to make sure that we have those tools, and those tools being our products, making sure we have products that provide nourishment, hydration. We forget the power of hydration with our whole body system and our hormones to help prevent some of those things to combat hair loss. And then, of course, just the care, providing tools of care to the first responders. That's you, cosmetologists and trichologists. And then also just the care for our DIYers and those that have the partnership with the professional community. And then also those tools of getting to the doctor and making sure care is more accessible. That is a huge problem. It is a huge problem. And then a lot of times, a lot of people go undiagnosed with hair loss.
Well, you bring up a really interesting, like with the medical, like talking about that too, because within our industry, I think sometimes we just think of what we do as aesthetic, but really deep down, we all know that have, a lot of experience in the industry. What we do is so much deeper than just the outside of a client sitting in our chair. And it really is something that should be taken at that serious of a level with hair loss. It's not just because I don't like how I look because my hair is thinning. It's a whole different, it's deeper.
It's deeper, and it even gets deeper when we talk about what's good hair. We say good hair is hair that's there. And I think where the concerns become is making sure that the professional community has tools, affordable tools that they can use to help their client, because we have to remember professionals are running a business, and a lot of times there are tools that can provide some prevention or resolve the issue, but a lot of times it becomes a cost, very burdensome on the cost. And so we believe we can create better, easier tools, providing access to the professional community so they can at least respond and be the first responder, and then have their client, if the situation continues, get properly diagnosed by a healthcare professional. And that's basically what our focus is.
So where does this passion, I mean, I feel it, I sense it, I feel all the passion coming from you. Where does that come from, especially around this particular area of helping with hair loss and solutions and treatments?
Well, as I said earlier, seeing my grandmother lose her hair, watching my mom to this day, because we're now able to stop, but we're not able to bring back. And then seeing the moment, even though she's older, even though she's happily married, but just almost like she feels like a part of her womanhood has been taken away. And I know men go through it, because there are studies that show men with hair have more confidence, they're accepted by society, all of those things. And we do understand, well, when men go bald, they do have a redefinement of beauty, like my husband, because he has no hair, but it still impacts everyone. And then again, just making sure women, when I saw the impact, even myself suffering it at the age of 38 and dealing with it, not only just postpartum, but after that. And then we go through perimenopausal, which is another issue. And then just the psychological challenges of dealing with mental health with it, and wondering why that person didn't want to talk to me or someone to talk to about it. And, is it what I'm looking like, the aging process? Do I have to go through this? Do we understand? Also, there's a lot of things that have been impacted our environment now in this generation versus the other generations, such as endocrine disruptors, microplastics, things that we're absorbing. Our hormones are having a challenging time to manage all those things. And so when that happens, you start to have impact. And at the end of the day, hair is just a reflection of your health too. I remember hair carries all this wonderful DNA. And because of that, it's saying what's going on the inside. So, we look at it as an indicator of health. We feel health is an indicator of your beauty. When you're healthy, everything works out. They say your health is your wealth. We're all very familiar. that and really focusing not on just the aesthetics and pushing aesthetics as a brand. We're taking a different approach and we're saying, let's push health. And that drives the aesthetics that you're trying to achieve.
So, I mean, you come from an entrepreneurial family and a background, but what made Autumn one day think, I want to found this company, I want to run this company and launch a company in professional beauty?
I mean, honestly, it was wild enough that I had my own pain. But what was interesting is noticing a lot of women had this pain and were scared to talk about it.
Mm.
Especially in the Black community, women were scared to talk about hair loss. So then their challenges and solutions were temporary ones that create a vicious cycle for the hair loss to continue. Having women, talk about it in silence and with me or in confidence, let me say that, and in tears. Also seeing women go through, chemotherapy. We have Tiana, who's on our team. She's a 2-time cancer survivor. Yeah. But at the same token, she had to go through the process of losing all her hair. And then having solutions that are even available for, someone like herself, but then also putting her in a position where she can have a partnership with the professional and having the professional have the proper tools, those things. I mean, the power of the professional, and that's what I was realizing, the gap with the consumer not having someone to speak to that's a first responder. Not everybody has money to go, to a dermatologist, a primary care physician, not even a nurse. Let's just call it what it is. And so when you start to see these challenges, you see the silence of tears and pain, not knowing how to resolve it or can't afford to resolve it, and constantly looking for different solutions, whether it's hacks and so forth. But unfortunately, there is always some result that it doesn't really work and not understanding. And we just wanted to be a company. I wanted to make sure we, were entered into the marketplace, partnering with the pros and really providing solutions and then always setting a new standard when these solutions occur. So we're constantly evolving. We're constantly seeing what else we can do. I know there's pill fatigue right there. Yeah. So you have people that are excited about taking vitamins, which we have, but we hear you loud. And so we came out with a hydrator that is a supplement, but it's a powder form because we understand that. So always trying unique ways to solve a lot of issues. And then of course we realize hair loss is, let me say this, cuticle damage and deterioration is a form of hair loss. So when you do have a healthier scalp, and now we're having challenges with the cuticle itself, the hair, we also realize the importance of providing products that the Black community, the texture community, and women are able to take advantage of, and that's our bonding system. And what's unique about our bonding system is we focused on hydration and restoring the hair, that reconstructive, not so much the aesthetics. It works well on everything other services, but we pride ourselves on the restructuring and hydration of the product for your hair.
It also sounds like you're blending a lot of science, business, like you're blending so many skill sets together to make this happen.
Yes, I mean, it's exciting. I'm a nerd, a hair nerd, all into the, well, and it really comes down to wanting to move the needle and really disrupt. There is this, now, forgive me guys, but I'm going to be honest here. There is this challenge with hair care with the consumer and having a category called hair care. We really identify ourselves as hair wellness. We feel in the hair care category, and I know stylists may be like, you guys may be like, yes, is that we think of a product like a gel or a hairspray, and it says things like jojoba oil in there and, helps, does X, Y, and Z, or provides extra hydration, creates consumer confusion. And they're not licensed like the professional community is and have the proper knowledge. So they continue to do things that say hair care that cause further damage that can actually lead to hair loss. And that is where I champion the professional community. And that's why we believe in professional only products and putting them in the hands of the professional, because we know that the professional is going to know best how to manage those, how to improve the situation if there's challenges and so forth. And I feel that has been missed. And we definitely see there is in the category of hair care, it really needs to be focused on that hair wellness and then the hair care in terms of styling and so forth, but understanding that difference.
Well, and you live and breathe that brand promise around wellness. And one example of that, I just have to bring up our Salon Leader Experience event coming up in February, where you all so generously are partnering with us and sponsoring the Wellness Walk, because it's something that, I mean, it is, you're living that brand, but we also recognize that leaders in our industry, salon owners and their leadership teams need an event where they can focus on the whole self, and not just on coming and learning and growing, but truly like the whole part of it. So we're so grateful to you and New Standard for being a part of this groundbreaking event that we're hosting in February together next year.
It's going to be fun. I think another part that we need to mention about the importance of wellness is understanding stress. And of those stress components, we talk about mental health. And so we are excited to be a part of the Salon Leadership Experience, because there's this piece that there is a lot of stress when you're managing as a salon leader.
So much.
Right? Even when you have the successes, whether you have multiple salons, you're able to franchise salons, all of those things, it is very stressful. And those that work in the salon, and just having some free practices to know how this improves, and it improves again from the inside out. And again, remembering hair is just a reflection of your health and where you're at. So that is our focus and our goal.
Well, I feel like you're pretty self-motivated when I talk to you, but I always love asking people, like, what drives you? What keeps you inspired? What keeps you motivated and moving forward?
I mean, the community, when you realize that you're addressing a need and the community is saying, yes, this is a need. And it's one by one day, a day at a time. It's, making a difference in one person's life. It just keeps you going. We're okay with, of course we would love to grow and share, but we're okay of taking one step at a time. We know what it takes. We know the successful companies that are here today, they started with one person.
Yes.
Community. I mean, you start somewhere. We're not here to, just have this exploding moment. It's not an overnight success. The overnight success happens through accumulation of days and months and years. And so we're very patient because we believe in what we're doing. We know that talking about hair loss is going to take time, because of providing the proper awareness, that the community knows that they're properly supported with the right resources and so forth.
Awesome. And what advice, now, this version of Autumn in 2024, what advice would you give to younger version of Autumn?
Oh my goodness. I'm always asked this, and I always and everything else. This is a very good question. And honestly, I would say fail fast. When I was younger, I was so scared of failing. I wouldn't even, I would, it's okay. Let me say this. It's okay to fail. And when you fail fast. There you go. And I made a lot of decisions to protect failure, which is impossible when you're trying to achieve things. That's even relationships, right? Mm. You're going to have some downs, some relationships that don't work out, but it builds character, it builds who you are. Your personality is just a predisposition of your genetics, right? Who you're born to, but it's character that really builds everything. And when you are willing to take risk, understand failure does take place. Don't look at the failure as permanent, and then you learn how to do it quicker. I believe that's where success takes place. And so that's what I would tell my younger self.
And similarly, for those who aspire to do something similar, start a brand, maybe they're licensed but want to do something else in the industry down the road sometime, what advice career advice for younger professionals today that are embarking on this journey in a career in professional beauty?
I will say this, it takes a team. And I know a lot of times we see the lens that one person did it, or you see the glory of all their success and, I work hard. They did. But understand there is a team, and the team doesn't necessarily mean it has to be people that literally work on the team, but it's a team of supporters. It's a team of believers. It's a team of people that, invest in your dream, whether they're buying the product or the service. Understand that. Understand that's what it takes, and continue to invest in that and continue to nurture those individuals, like I said. And that to me is the best way to grow, because I hate to tell everybody, there will be a moment that you have success and you come back up. And I tell people this, and something my grandfather used to always say. He was always good to people and his competition. He looked at the world as really no competition, but he was always good to people. And it was so nice when he said he would, come down from success. As he was coming down, it would be a dear friend of his that would be going up the stairs of success, right? And that person would say, come on back up with me. Because that's how it is. It is really a community that helps build, brands and opportunities, and to continue to reinvest in each other, I think is the key thing. And just to remember that.
Yeah, I love that. You can't do it alone. Sometimes we all think that we can, right? I'm guilty of it too.
Yep.
It takes it.
Let me just do it myself. So even in the household, my poor husband. Just let me handle it.
Yeah, the ongoing joke at our house is like, like I'm acting like a kindergartner, and it's like, I do it myself.
Exactly. And it's good to have independence though. So I champion that as well. It's just making sure you have that balance. And again, to nurture and invest in those relationships, however they come to support you. That's your team. Again, your team doesn't have to look like someone you employed or that is physically attached to the business. That's important as well. But just understand that, success is not done alone, nor should you want it.
Absolutely. One other question, if you were not doing what you're doing, is there some other career that you think you would have had, or thought, oh, maybe I would have done this someday if I wasn't in professional beauty?
It's going to be cheesy, and I feel so bad for my 6-year-old daughter, but I would be a ballerina, like Copeland. And I say that because my daughter has been enrolled into ballet. And
that's
so
awesome.
she likes it right now. But if I could, I would actually love to be a part of the dance world, the artistic world on that end. I find it very beautiful. It actually manages any challenges I have mentally to watch. It is like a relief and escape to even watch, but even to be able to be a part of it. I did it when I was young, but didn't stay on top of it. So if I could come back and do anything outside of hair, I'd probably still do both, guys.
I like it. Dance on the side. Yeah, dance for
ballerina dancer. I know it's cheesy, guys, but somebody has to do it.
Love it. So getting a little more serious for a second. In our realm of professional beauty, what's missing, do you think? Like, as an industry, what can we be doing together, working toward that? Just feels like this is just a missing thing that we haven't been able to figure out yet.
I feel today what's missing is providing resources to the professional community about health and hair.
Yeah.
I feel it's missing that there's this magical one potion, one product, or one visit to the professional, let alone some professionals don't have tools. So there are some that don't know that certain things continue to exacerbate hair loss. I think I'm going to stay with it. And that's why we're here, because it's not being talked about. It's not enough education. I believe it needs to be, available and accessible, especially in the professional community, but also to the consumer, the clients, the guest in the chair. Like, it's not talked about. And they project that hair loss is going to double in 7 years. And I think it's going to then be this, whirlwind of, trying to find solutions, because right now, some of the solutions that we do see, even if they're supplement, they're expensive. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can afford, $100 to $150 a month on supplements. And it becomes very, even challenging, and it definitely starts from the inside out. So I will say that. But then, like I said, I just would love to see, let's hold on and respect the license and keep the license going. Cosmetology is a very, very serious field, and making sure that's not, dissipating in certain states, like unfortunately my state in Texas. So seeing that we honor and respect the license and make sure we're providing strong legislation of holding on the cosmetology license. So then we can then fill the gaps of certain education and brands being responsible of doing that part, because brands don't really exist without the need and care of professionals. So that's definitely something I see we can do and what we should do.
I love it. It's bringing that's a big reason why PBA exists and why we are so honored to partner with you and with your brand, and just because we love the professionals in the industry, and want all of us to have the sense of community and fulfill that need for them. So thank you. I mean, we could talk forever. I could just keep on going, and then we'll come back. We'll do another one. But just so grateful, Autumn, to you, and your brand, and for spending some time with me this afternoon. And can't wait to see you. I mean, if not before, at least for sure in February at the Salon Leaders Experience.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Bye.